If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. I get comments all the time when I make a video where I talk about some of the difficulties of this lifestyle. Well, at least you are free. And I find that comment very interesting. What is the definition of freedom? Their comment to me, at least I am free, I know for a fact they are correct. And I will explain to you why I know I am free. I don't think the reason I am free is the same reason they said it. They, I think, have a different definition of freedom. I made a video a while back where I talked about a webpage I saw. He defined freedom as the Native Americans, back in the old days, were a free society. That they weren't constrained by the restrictions of government. And immediately when I read it, I thought, wait a minute. I don't think the Native Americans were all that free. They had all kinds of chores they had to do all the time. They had routines and schedules and bosses and the whole deal. It definitely doesn't match my definition of freedom. Obviously, a lot of people seem to think that being free means coming out here and traveling the country and going out west and seeing things and being free. Unfortunately, this channel tries to burst bubbles, I guess. Here's the thing. If that is a true statement, that you're going to be free, that you get to travel all over the country all the time, do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, well, that's not true. I've obviously told you many times that we are stuck in Missouri. Here it is, December, and we're stuck in Missouri because Carolyn's daughter is sick, and we got to stay here until she passes away from cancer. That's not the freedom that you're defining. Of course, now people are going to say, well, that's just a temporary thing. You know, once you get past this, you'll be able to move on. Well, last year we had to do the same thing. 2 years in a row, we're out, chasing this dream that everybody tells me that I'm supposed to be chasing. At least you're free, going out there and being free and doing the things you want to do. And I'm still back in Missouri where we started this adventure, just kind of moved around for a little while and then came back. If I want to look at that definition of freedom, then I would say I'm definitely not free, because the one thing I cannot stand, absolutely cannot stand, is winter. It is just terrifying to me. I hate winter. I can't tell you how much hate I have for winter. I just can't stand it. So here I am once again, and make matters worse, I'm in a camper in winter. I think the only thing worse would be in a tent in winter. Because if I was free, according to that definition, I would be in a much warmer climate. Now, this channel has routinely showed you all kinds of things that would suggest it's a lot of work out here. As a matter of fact, just a few days ago, I made a video where I talked about anything that you do out here actually takes more work than when you were in a stick and brick. For example, if you want to run your electricity, when you go home, you turn on the light switch and you have lights. And you had to go to work to make the money to pay for that electric. Well, here I have to power my camper with a generator. That means I got to go out and buy the gas, and I got to buy the oil, and then I come back and I have to do the maintenance on the generator. I have to start the generator. I have to charge the batteries with the generator. I have to switch back and forth from the inverter to the generator. There's more work involved. And I still have to pay for all the things, the gas, like I just said, which runs me about $40 to $50 a month. Granted, my electric bill is a little bit more cheap out here. Being out here, living out here, you don't make as much money as you could in a house. So the percentages, I would pretty much assume, are about the same. So is it freedom to live out in the national forest or BLMs and routinely be told, and knock on the door, and people wanting to obtain your identification, license plate numbers, police officers. Just the other day, I was at this campsite. I'm completely legal to be here. There is nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with me being here. It's a campsite. Police officer came up, stopped behind my vehicle, shined his lights on my license plate, came out of the vehicle, knocked on the door, and, just asked information. And this was about 10 o'clock at night. Wanted to see my driver's license. I know why. There's nothing wrong with what he did. He was making sure that we have not done anything illegal. You know, that down here in some of these campsites, drug use is pretty heavy, so they monitor these areas to keep the drug use out. And it happens a lot. Rangers come out to campgrounds in the National Forest. Are you free being required to move from your location every 2 weeks? Now, some are going to say, yes, I consider that freedom. Others are going to say, wait a minute, yeah, that, you know, you're being forced to do something. And being forced to do something isn't freedom. This is important to understand what your definition of freedom is before you come out here. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, I absolutely know what my definition of freedom is. Being able to tap into my mechanical mind. I have a very mechanical mind, and I think in statistics, and I think in mechanics and gears and rotations, and, you know, I'm just trying to give you some examples of how my brain works. So for me, being able to start my generator and charge a battery with a system that I designed, I love it. This is just absolutely cool to me. Another thing I would consider freedom is building this camper. I built the camper after the pop-up camper fire. And I really enjoy living in something I built. There was an old TV show, Tool Time. And Tim used to say, it's not yours unless you built it. And I truly do feel like that. And when I come in here, it's like living in a clubhouse. I really enjoy that. Another thing I really enjoy is being alone in the woods. Now, a lot of people will consider that boring. I mean, I get a lot of comments. When are you ever going to show us your adventure? When are you going to go do this or do that? Well, this is my adventure. I want to be in the woods. Everybody has a different definition of freedom. And I really encourage you to identify what your definition of freedom is, and will this lifestyle actually accomplish your freedom. Thanks for watching. Like if you like the video, and happy travels.